Hello, hello, can you hear me now? I think it has started already. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hello, hello, can you hear me now? I think it has started already. Please let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, okay. So welcome. Sorry it took this long, but it's my first
Hello,
time
can you
setting
hear me
this up.
now?
I
Now it's
think
good,
it has
so
started already. Let's do it. Let me just close the live view because I'm hearing myself double. Yeah, now it works. So let's start. So thank you all for coming. I don't know how many people are actually here online. Thank you for coming, and I want to say that it's my first live stream, so I am a little nervous. I'm just trying to break the ice, uh, going for really deep water by going live. Hello, everyone. Okay, so I've got it unscripted because I really suck at reading the scripts while being nervous on the camera. So I've just have a few checkpoints to tick off. We'll start actually right now. I don't know how many of you are there because I cannot see it. I see that there's like one person online, which I don't think it is because I can see you on the chat. Okay, so maybe let me start now. Uh, This new series that we're just starting right now is a live stream series of analyzing people's and my own onboard videos to make, you know, to help you all, to help myself as well. It's really nice opportunity for you to see my work on live because that's what I'm doing for now. I'm helping people by analyzing their rides. So I thought that why not and make it go live and yeah, 10 souls, nice. Thank you, Boxer, for telling me. Okay, so uh, yeah, so this is a cool opportunity to show you how I work every day with other people. Until now, I have worked for mainly Polish riders, but now I think it's a good idea to go live, I mean global, and to help you all by speaking English. Of course, I haven't used this language for quite a while, so I may make some mistakes along with being stressed, but okay, let's do this. So actually, what we are going to do now is I'm going to show you my onboard from Brno. I guess you're familiar with it, as I've quite marketed it for last days that I'm gonna analyze my ride. So that's what we are going to do right now with your help because I don't want it to be a monologue of just me talking. So the idea is to show you the first lap uh, without me talking anything, and after that, I will ask you to write down on the chat what do you think of it and what really we are going to be talking about. Because the thing is, when we are seeing a newbie riding, like you've got a freshman, then even if you are not an instructor, you are a normal rider like him, just being more experienced over the years, you can already help him because the errors he makes, uh, they are usually very obvious. Yeah, so it's really easy to help him out. But in this case, when it's me, so really advanced rider or let's say semi-pro, as I would call myself, is that those mistakes are not really obvious. Yeah, they are really hard to catch, and that's why it takes sometimes even days to analyze CD on board for like 50 times and compare it to other fast people or like pros riding this track to actually your body position during the stream is wrong. Okay. Sorry for that. I'm not going to lean over because you won't see me. Okay, so thank you for cheering me up on the chat. I'm seeing you writing. It's so nice. Going straight to the point. It won't be really easy, and it won't be that obvious like it would normally be to for you or for even for myself. It took quite some time to understand why I'm going so slow. I mean, as for me, and that's why let's start with actually before we go and dive straight to the onboard. I guess most of the current viewers are probably like already know me. But first of all, for those who are new that don't know me, and for people that will be seeing it later after we are finished, I will show you a very short video of like introduction of myself. It's just to show you who is talking for those new people. So let me show you. Let me show you the exact movie. It's a very short one. It's like 1 minute 22 seconds, but it's just enough to make people realize who I really am. So enjoy this very short movie. And when I started, please let me know in the chat if you can hear it. So this is me. Yeah, thank you for the info. Glad you can hear it. Yeah, this is Oschersleben, for example. This is Brno. This is silent running. So yeah, I've raced quite a bit. I've crashed quite a bit as well. So I think I can really help you. It's already something I'm doing already with other people. So let's start with analyzing my onboard. Yeah, okay, so that was about me. You already know who I am, I guess, most of the current viewers. But let's get to the fun part. Let's see that first lap of me riding on Brno, and later on, or while we are looking at it, please write down vid volume down, voice over up. Okay, let me try doing it. Vid down. Okay, let's see. Let me know when I started if it's okay. Let's see the first lap. Okay, thank you. If you catch any mistakes, guys, please write them down already in the chat because we've got like, I don't know, maybe 1 minute or 30 seconds latency at least. So I will be able to see it after a while. Yeah, I'm a bit better, buddy. Thank you. Actually, I'm quite sick already. My nose is full. I don't know if you can hear it, but sorry for that. Probably it is quite obvious that my nose is blocked, so I'm talking really weird, but never mind. Okay, any advices for now? Any hints? Any notes from you guys? Can you see anything at all that I'm currently fucking up on this lap? I guess I already know the first comment about my riding. I think it will be it, and I hope it will be it because I want to emphasize on that point. Not at all. Okay. Brno is so wide, hard to spot mistakes. I wouldn't have a clue. Okay, so then let's stop right here for now. Let me show myself in the camera. Okay, so no ideas, yeah? For now, I should start the conversation, yeah? Okay. So first of all, if I would ask your shift your shift too early. Well, maybe. I don't really know because as you can see the RPM gauge is broken. I had problems with electronics in this bike. The electronic loom was shitty, so that's why there were problems. But I guess I'm pretty close to the limiter, so not really, but you missed Apex a few times. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you, Arvid, for the hint. And yeah, we'll start with that because for normal people, for most people, if I showed him the onboard, the first thing they would say is, "Dude, you fucked up the first Apex or the second one, or so on." So what I wanted to emphasize right here on this point is that guys, it's not really about apexes. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean right now that the trajectory or hitting apexes is particularly not important because this is one of the most important things. But the real thing is not about me not hitting those apexes. I can surprise you that even there are like 2 or 3 turns here on Brno Circuit where we don't really aim, at least for the first apex, when the corner is double apex, we don't really aim to hit the first apex. I will tell you why in just a minute, but is the apex so important in Brno? Yes, mainly the hitting the apex, so keeping your trajectory right, means that you can go as fast as possible because going straight to the apex means you have leaned the least possible for the least amount of time. So not risking, crash while maintaining the highest possible speed. So overall, yes, that what Arvid wrote is totally correct. Yeah, that I fucked a few apexes, but that is the effect of the problem, not the cause. So now let's talk about the causes, and then I will tell you why I did so. I mean, of course, that's a mistake here and there, but there are always some kind of side reasons why someone does it. Like he doesn't know. Yeah, that's the first thing. He doesn't know that he should have a perfect trajectory, that he should hit apex, that it would make his line like perfect in terms of being safe while being the fastest. But that's still just the beginning. That's the top of the mountain of the iceberg. Yeah, that is the rest is hidden under. And now we'll dive into those more like specific things that I'm dealing with every day with other people when the guy is really fast and it's not only about him fucking up the apex, the turn, but actually why he's doing that. So now let me see. I've got some checkpoints to tick, so that I know what I'm talking about and I can be as precise as possible. So yeah, the biggest reason why I'm fucking up those apexes, yeah. So the output, the outcome is me fucking up the apexes, but the reason behind that is because first of all I'm doing really bad job at braking to the corner, especially trail braking. So let's see just a few more corners when we are at the point where I will try to draw this on a sheet. So I will be able to show you, visually what I'm talking about. Let's go a bit further with the onboard. Yeah, so right here, as you can see, yeah, this is fucked up because this is double apex. I should have touched the first apex. This is the second one, also bad. This is also bad, so like the whole video, the whole lap is fucked up. But let's go to the main culprit, which we are approaching right now. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to show you. Yeah. So look, basically you would see now and tell me, but Mike, yeah, this actually this one corner looks pretty decent. Yeah, you didn't fuck up this one, thank God. But the mm, the reason is that you seeing it only by me either hitting the apex or not hitting it. But the problem is that I will try to draw it right now. Please bear with me for a minute. I will try to do my best to. I actually practiced a little bit before the show to be able to show it to you to draw it for you as soon as possible. But let me try. Okay, so let's call it. We'll talk about a sequence actually of two corners, and let me show you what I mean. Okay, let's say it's not really. Let me try once again because it's not that. Yeah, okay, that's much better. I will look into comments in 1 second if you're writing something because it's hidden currently. Okay, let's say that don't bother about the width or the width of the track. It's the same in all the places. It's just I'm so bad at doing this whole paint thing. It's a paint on MacBook. So what you are seeing right now, yeah. So let's see that corner in just a little bit. Let me show it once again. And wait a second, please. Yeah, actually, so I have to hide this. Where is the video? Yeah, it's here. Let's see this corner one more time so we can talk about it. Okay, actually, let's see the sequence, the whole sequence. Yeah, so as you can see, I've hit both apexes like perfectly. Yeah, you would say that, dude, this sequence, this chicane, let's call it, because it's like 2 turns as a chicane. It's like, dude, it's spot on, yeah? You've hit the apexes. Am I right? Is that what you're thinking about this particular place? And now I will write down what's the real problem. As you can see, I've already drawn that, but I'll do it even better because it's not perfect in what I wanted to see to show you. Let's make it like proper one. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. Look, guys, where the problem is. Actually, when I'm drawing, I don't see the chat, but never mind. This is what we'd like to see. The line that I'm drawing right now is the correct one, and the first one I draw, the wider one, is what I'm doing right now actually. So what I want to say is that because I'm braking really hard, but at the same time I'm keeping the bike straight for a very long time, I'm dropping like, let's say I'm braking, I'm using most of my brakes when I'm straight, yeah. Then I turn to the side with a little bit of trail brake. I'm sorry if someone that is a newbie to racing is watching this, so let me explain like in brief what I mean is that when we're riding on the track we're using trail braking. So we start braking when the bike is fully or mostly fully upright, and then along with this brake, we dive into the corner, releasing the brake along with getting more lean angle. So the more lean angle, let me try to show it to you in this camera. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, we have a brake right here, and we've got the bike right here. So I squeeze the brake while the bike is upright, and then when I go to the side, when the bike leans over, I slowly release the brake, so that when the bike is at full lean already by the apex, I have my brake released completely. Yeah. So the problem right here is that even though I am experienced, I tend to keep the bike straight in straight line for too long, and then trying to lean it to the corner, I have too little tray brake to make the bike really turn how it should turn. So I'm doing two mistakes at once. I'm braking for too long in straight line, while I should be dropping more of this brake. I should be dropping while leaning all the way to the apex, and in the same time I have much longer, as you can see right here, I have much longer way to make, much longer distance, let's say, while this line is shorter, yeah, obviously. And the another thing is that the bike here needs to be leaned over for longer time, and in how to say it in English, in order to maintain the same speed here and here, I would have to lean it much more. I would have to have much more lean angle right here than right here. Yeah, so this line is faster. That's the first thing, and the second thing is that I have to lean more while going, my current trajectory. And the real problem is that I should be doing that and I should be aware, but I wasn't at that time. And that's how I wasted like one day of me riding, because I didn't analyze. I just, made lap after lap, and I was frustrated every lap that I'm quite fast. As for me, I'm fluent and so on. But what's the problem? Why I cannot, go faster? Why my lap time finally is really bad when I feel that I'm really pushing? So let me see my notes, because I don't want to go too far away from the topic. Agree, but it's a little bit like with skis. Can you elaborate, please, about this? Because it's quite interesting. I was just about to explain why I did that. What's the reason behind that? But I want to see your idea of that. But in the meantime, I will be explaining further. So normally, to be able to go as narrow as possible and start leaning the bike just when you start braking. So, I hit the brakes and I turn. Uh, every single thing must be perfect. Why? Because if we are to lean the bike more with very strong brakes, it means that we can we can go too far. Yeah, we can break the traction of the front wheel, and that's the real problem, because we have to keep in mind that the bike, the mass of the bike goes front and back. Yeah, when we accelerate, it goes back. When we brake, it goes down. And the benefit of this, the advantage of this thing, is that when the bike is linked to the front on front brakes, the tire is, let me try to show it to you. The tire is like it's more squashed to the ground, so it has more traction. That's the first good thing. And the second is when the suspension of the bike, which is, let me try to show it, when the bike goes down with the front, the suspension, so both, how it's called in English. Yeah, so the whole fork goes like this. Yeah, it compresses. When the fork compresses, we have two nice things that are happening. The wheelbase gets shorter, and the front, compared to the front is like closer to the head, yeah, of the frame. So the bike is physically shorter between the wheels, and it's also shorter by the front. The front of the bike is shorter. That's when the bike has the best possible, let's say it, let's name it geometry, because it is. The bike's geometry changes when we accelerate and when we brake. When we brake, the geometry is ready for the bike to lean to the corner and cut the corner as fast as possible. When we accelerate, on the other hand, the bike straightens up and it's longer then, because the forks are fully decompressed, and that's when the bike wants to go to the bike wants to go in a straight line. Yeah. So the problem is that if I want this bike to turn as fast as possible, I should be making it lean with the brakes as fast as possible, and make it in the same time make it go the shortest possible distance, yeah, the shortest path. While you will see in the next few seconds of the video that that's what I'm usually doing. I'm going the whole racetrack. I'm doing just that. Yeah, so you will see that I'm going straight on hard brakes for a long time, and then when I'm like done, when I start to release the brakes, I lean the bike right then. So it's like really too late. I should be having enough braking to be done later on. So when approaching the apex, the center of the turn, so that the bike is still compressed and it goes as narrow as possible, so right to the apex. Yeah, with my current situation of what I'm doing is that I have the brakes, I have them released like a few meters before the apex actually, and I even had to add some throttle to the bike, so add gas, because I'm like, I'm already going down because the bike is like it's stopped already. And what I should be doing, I hope you can see the cursor. I should be braking all the way to here, so the bike is compressed, the front tire is, gripped as good as possible to the pavement, to the asphalt. And right here, when I am done turning, so the bike is where it should be. This is exactly where I should be adding gas. Yeah, there are of course some corners that are different where you can add gas before hitting the apex, but mostly it is because that very mistake. So I'm hitting the brakes very hard, but I'm keeping the bike straight. I'm forcing the bike to stop, and then I'm turning, and I have really not enough the pressure of the trail braking to make it to the corner while still braking. And another good thing of that happening is, let me just end my monologue, and I will read your comments. The another obvious thing is that when you brake and the bike, squeezes the front and the front suspension compresses, when you lie the bike down and then you release the brake, from hard to low, yeah. So you release the brake when it's really low, already leaned over. Then the force that is forcing you out of the corner. Sorry, I just forgot in this moment, out of stress, I forgot the English name, but I think it's never mind. The force that pushes you out of the corner, yeah. When you are leaned over and you release the brake, the bike stays compressed on the front, and also the tire stays, squashed to the ground, because this force is keeping it corner. And if you release the brake beforehand, so that when the bike is straight, you release most of the brake after hard braking, and then you lay it down, then the bike decompresses by a lot, and also that makes the bike go, wider, because the geometry is already, decompressed. It's not. It's longer. Yeah, the wheelbase is fucked up. The front wheel is further to the front. That's why the bike doesn't lean, doesn't cut the corner. We can often hear people saying that his bike doesn't cut the corners, it's not as sharp as the other bike, or that he needs the suspension. And most of the times the problem is not really about the bike turning in properly, but guy that is braking, in the front line, especially when he has no clue that there's something like tray braking, so that we should, carry the brakes into the corner along with leaning the bike down. So the guy is braking down a lot. He's, releasing most of the brakes, or all the brakes, and then he lays the bike down. That's the problem, because the front wheel is compressed once, it's decompressed when you release most of the brakes, and then when you lean, it tries to, it tries to be connected to the ground as much as possible. The force that is forcing you out of the corner tries to do that, but because we have released the brakes, it's like, bam, the bike is like forced to the ground. Now the front wheel is too light, is less traction. You lean it down, and there's a problem, because uh, firstly, you have no traction on the front wheel. Secondly, most of the times you go wide, so you go around the corner. So that's what we're saying by missing the apex. Yeah, so it would like it would look. Oh, sorry, not this line. Let me show it to you. So yeah, going wide, yeah. So not touching the apex in any second for any meter. That means that you're going wide. So you require you're giving the bike less traction, and there's usually worse for turning the bike to the corner. But in the same time, you require it to lean more to make the corner, and that's when most of the crashes happen. And especially when you are like mid corner, like here, leaned over by a lot, and you're guessing like, okay, I can already, add gas, I start accelerating, because my speed drops, and you add one more, factor. So you add gas, the front wheel is even less gripped to the ground, and that's when it goes, bad. Okay, short break. I will read what you wrote down to me. Uh, yeah, it has its natural turn tendency. Yeah, yeah. You have to hit the apex of a turn with the suspension as compressed as possible. In this case, the more compressed it is, the better. Yeah, Przemek, answering your question. Yeah, so basically, we don't want the front wheel, the front suspension, to be completely locked. So when we have like very hard braking point, let's say we've got straight line, then we've got a lot of brakes, and the turn is really sharp, like, second gear turn, very slow, very sharp corner. Then we want to release a little bit of brakes before we turn in, so that the bike leans with a little bit of suspension travel in reserve. Yeah, we cannot make it, closed completely, because if the front fork is not able to do the work, then what will be the next to dampen the surface? Of course, it will be the wheel. Yeah, the tire actually. So we cannot, force it too much, but we should. You can see it actually by some, cool shots from WSBK or MotoGP, that the rider brakes, he releases just a little bit of that brake pressure, and then he leans the bike down. He does that on the fully compressed suspension. But normally in most turns, so I mean fluent turns, like, not stop and go, we can pretty much say that because of the forces that are present, we can force the front brake really far and really hard into the corner. That's the case. Uh, yeah, so it isn't as big mistake with your cornering at that time, although you're right. Thanks. Okay, yeah. So actually, what I mean is my biggest problem is like in the middle. Yeah, it's a middle. It's in the middle of what I could have done as an inexperienced rider. Yeah. So let's divide those points. First of all, we have a guy that doesn't know that he has to brake into the corner. Yeah. So what he would do is he would brake a little bit like here, but he would keep all the speed into the turn. He would start leaning the bike Actually, I even had one time with a student on Slovakia ring, a very, very fast corner, when I saw that something like that can happen for the first time, that the guy doesn't brake at all. Furthermore, he adds the gas, and on that gas, he leans into the corner with his bike. So the bike goes like really, really wide, like super wide. And what he does is he doesn't even freeze the gas, he keeps it open, wide open, and he leans, making the bike the most, as lean as he can, that he starts to scrap everything like foot pegs and so on, and the bike goes wider and wider to the dust. Remember that this part, the outside of the tire, is always dusty, and that's where he reaches the highest lean, and he goes out of the corner now, sprinting out of it. Guys, never ever do something like that, because we need traction. In order to make the bike turn properly, we need the traction on the front wheel, and we need to shorten the wheelbase and the front with compressing the front of the bike to make it turn better. So what we actually want to do, as I showed you right here, is that we want to, let's say, we want to start braking somewhere, for example, right here. Yeah, this is the braking point. And instead of doing it like I did, so going wide but to the front, to the straight line, as I did, we want to start braking right here. And instead of releasing the brakes flat and going to the turn, then we should start, let's say that we should, let me draw it. Sorry for that. I'm just a beginner in that. We should do the heavy braking right here. Yeah, but we should leave a lot of the braking force into the corner. Yeah, so first of all, we should have a lot of speed carried right here into the corner. Yeah, so corner entry, we should be really fast at corner entry, so that we can brake right here and make the bike compress the front, so the tire is stick to the ground. The geometry is optimal because it's shorter. The front wheel is also closer to the front of the bike, to the head of the frame. And still we should have a lot of braking to do right here up to this point. Yeah, so of course, the more you lean the bike, the closer you're to the apex, the less brake you should have, yeah, in your hand. So the more you lean the bike down, the less you have the brake, but much more than I had, because I did the opposite. Yeah, I went with hard brakes right here, like to this point, and then only then I just started to lean the bike down, while still having some brakes, but not enough, and not enough corner speed to be able to make it up to this point while still on brakes. So the bike turns as it should. Instead, right here, most of the times you will see it in a, sorry for me mumbling all the time, but I wanted to explain it as best as I can in English, and so on. Yeah, like I'm just beginning to do this kind of life, so I'm a little stressed. So what I mean is, most of the times you will see me like ending my braking like here, and going all the way here, even on the gas. Yeah, so I will be hitting gas right here. So what happens then is, I'm risking my front wheel to go off while still leaned a lot. And the second thing is that, yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm making the bike go wide, because not only I don't have brakes, I'm not braking to keep the bike turning, but I'm making it straighten up, unload the front, which is risky, and make it go wider. So this is a mistake. I will often end up being like here because of that right after I add the gas. Yes, so that's not something we want to do. So to make it really short, I'm in the middle. Yeah. If I didn't use the tray braking at all, so if I had released my brakes by here and went to the corner, I would make the bike go really wide, and it would be really, really dangerous, and it's something you never should do when racing on the track, because tray braking, it is also used by some hardcore racers on the road, yeah, for road racers. But for most of the times on the road, you're going like, modern speed. You are not too fast into the corner. You're not, trying to do your best lap time or the fastest cornering speed possible. So normally you don't need to use the brakes. They are like, only for the cost when anything happens mid-turn that you are still aware of this technique, you are using it, then you can take advantage and, for example, not crash into a parked car in the middle of the corner. Yeah, but that's for the road. But when we're going to the racetrack, guys, one of the first techniques you have to learn is trail braking, because we want to see that the bike turns where we want, and not that we're trying to make it to turn and it says like, dude, I'm not ready, I will go wide. Yeah. So if you are seeing a guy that is not braking right here to the apex, but going wide, especially on the gas, it's super super risky, and we don't want to be in his shoes or near close to what he's doing, because that's when mostly of many of crashes happen. Yeah. When I had that student that went so wide, I went like, to the front of him the fastest as I could, and I took him to the paddock, to the pit lane, saying that, dude, you almost killed yourself. And he's like, well, but that's how I usually do. What's the problem? Yeah, what have I done? He wasn't even aware of that. So listen, you need to have technique, the technique, mastered before you speed up. So always your technique should be, higher than your speed. Because if not, if you don't know what you're doing, you will end up crashing. And usually, when you have the confidence and you are unaware of the risk, you will be pushing to the point when the crash, when will it happen? It will be very very fast crash. So don't do that. We need tree braking to make the bike turn. Okay, so now short break before I explain why this happened to me when it shouldn't to an experienced rider. That I'm seeing it just on the screen while riding. But let me see if you wrote anything. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you are silent listening to me. Thank you very much. I hope you are still here. Okay, so let me go on with the explanation. So now let me tell you why actually what were the reasons for me to make these mistakes, like mostly unconsciously. I didn't realize to the end what I did wrong, what was the problem, and those are cases that why this video will be really useful for you, apart from me telling all this stuff to you, is that you can relate it to those problems that I had, because those problems are as follows. Firstly, this bike, guys, this GSXR is not mine. It's my friend's bike. It's borrowed from him. It's not set up for me completely. So the suspension sucks, the set, because the suspension is stock. So it's as good as it is, but honestly, as it is. It's just that it's not as good as the modern bikes. It's like 2008, but it's still good enough. It's just not set up for me. It's a borrowed bike with bad tires. I mostly ride on the tires from the trash. Really, that's not a joke. First of all, because of economical reasons, I don't have lots of cash and the tires are expensive. And secondly, because I want to train on tires that are trashy, so I can control the bike more, because most of the times I'm riding, for training purposes, not for making best times. So the next thing is something you can really relate to again, is that apart from this bike being old, borrowed, it's cheap bike, not set up correctly for me, with bad tires. For the last couple of years, I was riding really occasionally, so like 2 or 3 times per year, like at most, and I was just busy teaching others, so that I did no analysis of my ride at all. I didn't do anything. I was just going, enjoying the track, but with no, making any real progress. Yeah, because in my shoes, when you are fast experienced rider, you have to, analyze your data, your trajectory. So the, how it's called, you have to analyze your lines from the device that records it, and you need to be aware of what you're doing bad so you can advance, because as I said in the beginning of this monologue, is having a guy, experienced guy riding, it's not easy to spot his mistakes. The same goes for, it's even worse when it's subjective. Yeah, it's not like I'm not objective because it's my ride, and I really have to think, dude, what's going on right here, what's the problem? Yeah, so I just rode this bike. I didn't think of the ride. And as you can see, if there's no one to tell you what you're doing bad, it can take, it took me like 3 years without any analyzing, because I spent all of my time analyzing other people's onboards, talking with them. I honestly, I didn't even open my onboards because, and no telemetry. I didn't study anything because I had no time. I just went, for like 2 days of riding once in a while, and that's how I ended up like this. And what problem, apart from what I said, what was another problem is that it's something you can actually relate to again, because it's a mental problem. Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy, but my head was a little blocked, and the reason for that is, as I said, this bike is borrowed from a friend, and I happened to use this bike because my ZX10 was not ready, my track bike. I've used this bike. This was the second outing of this bike actually. I went to the Pannonia Ring the first time on it in April, and I will now show you what happened to me uh, on that track day. This is really short movie. I will just show you the clip, so you know what's happening. Yeah, yeah. So that's what happened on Pannonia Ring when I was first time on this bike having fun. Let's see it. Okay, so as you could see, I've crashed the bike quite heavily, and the reason for that, there were two reasons that I've crashed. The first thing is, as you can see, it's nice that we have this view. This is the last, guys. This is the left corner of the track. Then we have a right turn, like double right turn to the straight line. Then we have all the way, we have straight line, then we have right turn, another right turn right there, and this is the first left turn for like 3 kilometers later, yeah, or maybe 2 kilometers later. And this was April, and what happened is my front tire got a little cold. The second reason, because there are always like a few factors to this, the second factor, the second reason was that, as you could see right here, I will play it on mute right now. I was overtaking a guy, and I didn't have enough time to go back to the um, widest possible place. Yeah, as you can see, I'm like, I don't know, 2 meters away from the outside of the racetrack. So naturally, when I'm just sitting down right now with the speed I'm carrying as always, what happens is I have much more lean angle than I should have. And even with all those things, you can still hear that I'm still too early with my tray braking even then, because I didn't want to force it. I released the brake sooner. I've realized that I have not enough cornering speed, and listen when I'm giving the gas. Oh, sorry, let me repeat because you won't see it. Let's listen up. Now, I don't know if you could hear it, but I actually started accelerating right before I crashed. So sorry. So those are the three factors why I went down. And as a outcome of this, when talking about my Brno performance, I had the bike crashed. I had to repair it, and the bike costed, like, the repair was worth more than the bike's overall cost before crashing. So I spent a lot of cash because the bike, you cannot see it that clearly on that video, but the bike went flying like 2 meters or 3 meters to the air, and it went down like bam, and then it rolled for like one or two times, so it was heavily damaged. And that's why going to the Brno again on the same bike, because my mechanic did fatal job. He didn't prepare my bike again. So having in mind, I just bought the track day, the ticket for Brno, thinking that the bike will be ready for the Brno, but it wasn't. So with my soul on my shoulder, I don't know if that's the meaning, the correct meaning in English, but in Polish we say that I had a soul on my shoulder. I was super scared, in other words, of crashing the bike for the second time. So actually, what I did right here was the safest actually thing I could do. Why? Because I did all the heavy braking before the turn, not in the turn. Because as I said to you, like a few minutes before, with that long monologue of turning with your brakes, so trade braking, you can and you should start braking and leaning the bike as strong as possible to make the bike make the turn as quick as possible, the fastest possible way, so make it turn as good as possible. But there is there are a few prerequisites, I think sound, that we have to meet before we can make it. Yeah. So the first thing is we have to believe in the tires, in the bike, that the bike is set up super good, that when we are leaned over with our brakes, that we have some fork travel left on the front suspension, and that it will actually work as it should to to stick the tire at all times to the ground. Because if not, if the bike starts clapping, getting the front tire won't have enough grip. And what we'll basically do is, when we'll start leaning it down on full brakes, it will pop once or twice and it will go. So we'll just cut our own wheel. So, in order to be able to do how it should be done, so being super aggressive on the brake, so being able to carry more speed into the corner entry, mid corner, keep the bike turning as it should, and go on the gas in the apex actually, or just like depends on the corner. Sometimes we can go, as I said, a little faster on the gas, like double apex or apex or late apex corner. We'll talk about it in a second when I let go. I mean, when I start the video again. But what I want to say is that we we must be sure about the bike, about the tires, about the suspension. We cannot be scared of it. And in order to make it all work, is that we have enough of riding. Yes, so practice makes it perfect. I should be able to be so confident and have it practice so much that I brake super hard, lean the bike down, even to the point where the bike actually goes sideways while being leaned over, and going like that to the turn. Because right that way, when let's say when drifting to the corner, the bike will be super sharp, and he will do the braking very well, while keeping itself to the corner as sharp as possible. It will turn really good. But as I told you a second ago, I was scared. The bike was not prepared. I was riding really occasionally for the last like 4 years, 3 years, let's say. Before that, let me explain. Before, I had like 25 track days. Yeah. Okay. Of course, most of them were for training others, but still, I was sitting on the bike like the whole time. Yeah. I'm often I'm saying that I slept in the van on different racetracks. By the time I just came back home, I had my bike serviced, and I went back to the track, yeah, to another racetrack, like without sleeping sometimes even. So now going to the track like twice or three times a year or even less, it makes me less trained, less ready for that risk. And since I don't have enough experience, and enough practice in that year, but still having my experience of knowing where my limits are, all I can do is push to the corner as always, as usual, as I would, but keeping it safe. So doing the hard braking thing before the corner and keeping just a little bit of the brakes into the corner so that the bike actually turns well. Enough, let's say enough, because as you can see, I made most of the corners I actually made to the apex or was really close to the apex, but there were not many places where I fucked up really much that the bike went too wide. And as I told you, sometimes we even want that in the first apex of two. I will show it in next corners. But to cut it short, this is let's call it. It was a mistake. It was a repeatable mistake of mine, but in the same time, it was because the bike is not prepared for me, and I didn't want to crash it another time because I would just I would die crashing somebody's bike twice, especially paying so much for the first fix. So that's the outcome, and that's why I told you in the very beginning that. Um, that's the reason why you can relate to my situation so much is because you are in the same situation, yeah, you have let's say often old bike or at least not set up properly. Not many people have the bike really dialed in, set up for them, like suspension, everything as it should be. Many people ride on bad tires. Many people ride very occasionally. You ride like twice or three times a year at max probably. And so your head is often blocked, or you don't even have that experience. You don't know how it feels to go faster, and I know that my body knows how it feels already. So that's why you can relate to this situation, because you don't have to blame yourself. Of course, it's worth talking to somebody, for example, like I do that kind of stuff every day. I'm reviewing people's rights online. I can pinpoint all your wrongdoings, but if your problem is like this and not, cardinal mistake like it would be if I didn't use my brakes into the corner at all, this is the safer option. And sometimes you don't have to blame yourself, because if you are riding occasionally, that's just how it is. You don't have enough practice to do that. Yeah. Okay, so let's go further finally. Sorry for the long talk. I hope you're not sleeping. Let's see the further corners, yeah, and analyze, because now it will be easier. That was the biggest thing I wanted to show you. Now it will be like small things I could improve, or some tips, advices for you why I did it that way. That was the biggest mistake I did. Let's go. We're again at that corner. Let's go further in. Yeah. You can say like, Mike, you did the apex, it's okay, yeah. That second time you can see, yeah, it's perfect, it's spot on. What's your problem, yeah? The problem is, as I told you, there is a big problem about this video. It's like 5-6 seconds, and yes, 600 is super light and 1000 is much bigger. Yeah, most of the times that's how it is, but that's not how you think. Let's go back 1 second to the corner, to the omega corner, and this is what I wanted to show you for now. Let's think of it. Like, you look here. You would say, Mike, but this corner right here, you fucked up. Yeah, it's double apex, and you didn't touch the first apex, but you've managed to reach the second apex. Yeah, the second apex is where the racetrack opens. It's the same for normal corners with one apex. Mike, where is the apex? The apex is right where you can see what's to the outside. I mean, to the front. Yeah, to the exit of the turn. So this is where the apex is. You can see that it's it's open. And what I wanted to tell you right now is that if you went right now to see onboards of many fast riders, different riders on this racetrack, on best performing, really prepared bikes, what you would see is that they are not touching this apex. Why? Because sometimes when the turn is really wide, if you know you cannot make it, narrow in the middle. So like here, if you are really wide right here, and because of that, if you cannot touch this apex, it's much better to actually to not touch this one. If you could make it with both, then it's okay. Many fast riders do that, but if you can't, then it's better to sacrifice this corner to touch this corner. Now let's go to the next corner. And what you can see right now, look, we went from the left corner, and the next one is also left. And when I did right here, you can see it very clearly how long, because it's fourth gear and really a lot of throttle. It's like a red line. Then you close the throttle, you brake really hard, and you turn, and the turn is little bit and really sharp, and it even closes. It has changing angle in the middle. And look what I did. Look how long I am keeping the bike uh, straight before I lean it, even though I'm on the brakes. Look, full gas, going out of the turn, so long. Look, right now, this is the place where I lean the bike. It's super late. Of course, the reason is as follows, as the previous first corner we've talked about all the time, so I won't explain it one more time. But if had I believed in the tires, if everything was perfect and I was, having a lot of practice this year, I could have hit the brakes and lean the bike right away. I would be much faster to the apex. Finally, I would have better, lap time, better corner entry, and better off corner, corner when I need to add gas. This is fucked up because of that one thing. And adding all of the corners around the track where I did it, it means 4, 5, 6 seconds of lost time, because it's like half a second fucked up every lap, every turn. Let's see it one more time. Yeah, it's like 1 meter away. It's not super bad, but had I did it better, the corner entry, it would be still much better. And here I want to emphasize about one more thing that I did really wrong, and you can see it clearly, is look how long I keep the bike leaned over. Let me try to quickly draw it. I promise to do it as fast as possible. What I'm saying is, let me do it that way. The wrong thing, I will make it, I will exaggerate it. I'm not doing it that bad, but I want to exaggerate it so that you can see what I'm doing wrong. I will exaggerate it really much. Okay, so look at this point. What I should have done is, what I should be doing is, when I'm going off the corner and I'm in the middle, I should get the bike from turning left, leaning left. I should pin it to the right away. I should do it like, no, go and gas in the apex right here, get the bike on gas, standing up. And when he's standing up, because when I'm accelerating, the bike picks up itself to the straight line and goes wide, yeah? So what I'm basically doing is making it go wider and stand up by itself. That's the moment where I should go to the right away. So like going on the gas, the bike starts going to the center of the track. I should do like bam and go to the different side. And look on the video one more time how far I'm going. Let me try to emphasize it. How far I'm going to the left before I actually move to the right. So I actually lose a lot of time right here and a lot of meters, because It should be done like this. It's of course it's really no. I've pinpointed it really hard. I've exaggerated it, but you can see clearly that I'm fucking it in the up right here on this corner. You can see it one more time. Leaned, and right here I'm going to the right. What I mean is I should have been going right like here and doing the transition to the right right here. I'm losing like 2 meters, and why I was doing this is because this is purely fucking up the trajectory. Yeah, so that's not any kind of mental thing. It's just that sorry, I thought that I won't be able to make it to this corner without going, super narrow, yeah? So what I did actually was going wide so I can make the turn feel more gentle, yeah, like easier, make it more open. But you know what? There is completely no reason for that, to do that. Because I should have, go straight here, even if it means that I reached the apex a little bit early. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. If I stay on the brakes or at least off the gas, but being leaned over a lot, the bike is leaned over, meaning that the bike is on a side of the tire, and the tire is, let me draw that. It will be really quick this time. When the tire, I hope I can show it to you. When the tire is right here on the side, it has much smaller radius, yeah, so the wheel is smaller the closer you are to the side of the tire, yeah, the better it turns because the wheel is smaller. Here, the wheel is the biggest in the middle, yeah. The more you lean the bike down, the more you lean it to the corner on the side of the tire. Of course, the less traction you have to know what you're doing. But if everything is okay, if the tires are okay, suspension, etc., you got everything dialed in, then leading the bike and keeping it leaned more means that the bike will turn better when you need it. Not, going wide the whole turn just to have fun and lean it over a lot. That's what people make on the road for making nice photos of being leaned over on the knee. That's not the point. We don't want to be leaning the bike when it should be leaned. Only when we need it really to make the bike turn, when it needs to turn, and for the least amount and least angle as possible. But as long as we increase the corner speed, the more we will have to increase the lean angle. It's like the out effect, yeah, of that, and that's what we wanna do right here. So I should have transitioned it right here and make it go right there, wait for like 1 second or half a second when it goes around the corner. I'm just exaggerating a lot, but that's what I wanted to emphasize. I'm better off waiting right here by the apex to make the bike wait for the bike to turn before I crank the throttle than going so much to the left to go so much to the right because I'm losing meters, and I saw being behind other riders that that's what they were doing, and nothing bad happens even when you are so aggressive on this corner. You won't sleep because the corner is really grippy. The whole racetrack is resurfaced. It's super grippy, so there's no point. I've made it because before when I was riding this track, it was super slippery. Yeah, it was very old asphalt and it was slippery as fuck, as on a dirt. So I was super scared not to crash the bike again, and I didn't uh, bring myself to try as others did, and they did actually that. So before I rode shitty tires, shitty suspension, but rode there on less grippy racetrack, and I've learned it that way, and I prefer that way, not to have too much lean angle right here, not to be too narrow, not to crash before right like here, because I did actually a few years back the photo you saw with me being to the ground on the white bike on the introduction, that was from Brno a few corners before. That was the reason. I've cut it too much. I've leaned it over, and before I realized, I lost my front. Like I did on the cold tire on Pannonia Ring. So we don't want to do that. But this time, when the track is okay, even if the bike is not set up properly. The tires are shit, but the bike is the racetrack is so good. I should have stayed right here, waited a little more, and make the corner rather than make it that way. Let's see it one more time. So it's not super bad, but it can be much better. I could have done it much better by transitioning much earlier. Let's think about this corner. It's a Schwantz corner, I think. And this is fucked up. Why? Because let's explain with some more details about this corner and the first one that I was talking to you about the trail braking. Guys, the faster the racetrack is, the quicker you approach the turn, the faster the corner entry is, the harder it is having not enough practice to feel when you should actually start braking. Where is the braking point? Not to fuck up the corner, yeah, because you're scared that it's super fast corner, and you can probably fuck it up. It's the same for very sharp corners, yeah, like going straight and having like 90-degree corner on second gear from going from like sixth. That's the same thing. You're braking way before, and you're carrying way not enough corner speed and brakes inside because you're scared that you won't make it. That's the problem. Like hitting your brakes to the first corner after straight line, start straight line to the first corner and so on. So that's the first reason. I was scared of this corner as fuck, because it's when you crash right here, you crash like you crash, huge time. The bike goes flying like hell. So that's the first thing I fucked up. Let's say it one more time. I was just scared to push further. I could with no problem. There's a lot of time to do it on a 600. That's the braking point of a liter bike, and you must be aware that liter bikes have different braking points because they accelerate much faster. They are much bigger, and because of that they brake earlier. Yeah, but in this situation, I was riding like on a liter bike. I should have kept the gas open for much longer, and the problem right here is this is the same corner tactic done on the Omega I told you before. So what I mean is it's double up apex, but most of the people don't treat it like this. I've treated it totally wrong because I've treated it like I was in the middle of the track, and now for me the only apex was there. And for many racers, you even watch Marc Marquez or I don't know who else, Canepa or Marvin Fritz. They all do it differently. For example, Marc Marquez would do it on two brakes, on two apexes. So he would go here, let the bike go a little bit, but he's most of the time he's locked to the corner. He's glued to the corner. Yeah, he goes all the time to the inside, and he stays to the inside for the whole corner. Many fast guys go right here. They go wider, and they cut to the second apex. But that varies on your bike, on your specification, and your preference. Most of the people go like meter away from the apex right here again, like on the Omega. They go wider and they come back because what's most important right here, like on that corner that I was explaining for the first time, that double apex, is that we want to concentrate on that place, yeah, on the final exit of going. We want to focus on the next corner or next straight after this corner to be as fast as possible and as quick on the gas as possible. So what I should have done is at least one of those two things. If I was too scared of cutting it right here, because I would have really much leaning angle right here, that would be bad. I should have kept it like meter or two away, then go wider and close the turn. While as you can see here, it's the most probably fucked up place I did, is being wide all the time, waiting for that late apex, not thinking at all about cutting this corner short. Super bad. And in consequence, most of the times, as you can see, I won't even be touching most of the laps. I won't be touching the apex right here because it's already fucked up from the very beginning. So that's super bad. And here, what we have is very important section. Is left and right chicane, very quick. As you can see, the profile here of the turn is negative. So here, it's like it's downhill to the outside, which is really bad for the grip. But the grip is really okay. The track is fresh. But what we want to do right here is actually what I was explaining to you a moment ago. What I mean is we want to go wide, really wide, but brake really hard, make the bike turn on the brakes to the corner, being uphill because it's uphill all the time. It's uphill here, uphill there, and really uphill. It's big hill right there. As you can even on the camera, you can see how steep the hill he is right here. So taking advantage of it, we can bring even more speed into the corner because if it would be flat or down, then we would have to be careful. In this situation, we can force a lot of speed to the corner, a lot of brake, and we should make it so hard so that the bike goes to the corner, and we should end up braking like here. Look, I am like, my rear wheel is like 2 meters to the back, and I'm already on the gas because I have not enough cornering speed. Corner speed is too low because I've braked it too much. I haven't carried enough corner speed to the curve. So in the outcome, what happens is I add just a little bit of gas right here, and look where I will end up. I'm in fucking middle of nowhere. Before I transition to the right side, I am like it's not like, let's say, it's not totally wrong, because totally wrong is if I was shot to the really outside. That would mean I've hit the apex too early, or didn't use the trail brake at all. I would end up right here, and it would be like super hard corner to make, and many people crash because of that right here, because of the elevation change, because the rear tire is really overwhelmed. Lean angle they would have right then, when they would go wide right here. They would go, right like that. The cornering would be like really leaned over, using a lot of gas to go uphill, and the bike tends to lose the rear wheel. Then it goes back again. The bike goes up to the atmosphere and shoots you out of the riding position. So that's the high side. Yeah, most of the times high sides on this racetrack happen on linear bikes right here because of that. Some people get thrown away right here from this left corner. They try to stay to the right. They lean the bike really hard because then the corner is really sharp, and then they open the throttle one more time and they go flying because of that. We cannot do that. We want to stay as close to the left side of the corner as possible. So let me show it to you how it should be done properly. We should go from here, carrying very much corner speed, lean it to the left, and wait for the apex on the brakes. Wait right here. Look, I'm just here. And you will see for a minute. I will repeat it one more time. I will start adding gas right here. It's super utterly wrong. I should be on brakes all the way to here, so that the bike keeps going to the left side, not straightening up and going to the right. Then being here, or at least most of the people get to like here, I would transition to the right side, and that's why I would have this turn wide open, for less lean angle in that middle of that right corner. So I would pick up the bike even further to the straight position, and then only then I would add gas, or I would add gas before the apex. I would just a little bit. I would pick it up and add a lot of gas. That's how it should be done. So what I did wrong was actually, again, let's hear where I'm adding gas, where I'm giving gas. Here, I didn't even reach the apex yet. I should have waited for that moment. And since I don't have enough cornering speed, what I could only do was give it gas. Yeah, so not to lean the bike over, not to crash. Yeah, to the left side, because I would finally if I didn't add the gas right here. And because of that, I'm in the middle. Of course, it's not super bad as I say. It's not. It's like nitpicking. Yeah, but it should be made differently. Okay, let me read the comments for a second. Uh, Funny thing is, MotoGP bikes actually keep the left side with the speed very long. They don't lean so much when right, but keep the speed. But it isn't 600. Yeah, but MotoGP bikes are totally different level. We cannot compare at all to them because they have different tires with different profile, different compounds. They have totally different stiff suspension. I mean, the geometry is, the suspension is really sensitive. So, and of course, electronics. Yeah. So um, the bikes actually keep the left side with the speed very long. Yeah, and of course the another reason is they have 3 times the power I have in this bike. So they do that specially because they wanna go to the left. It's similar to what I'm talking about in this corner. Yeah, they have much more power to. They want to use that power, so they would go more to the left side, then they would transition, not this hardcore side, but let's say they would go right here. Then they would transition and go on the gas right there. They would pick up the bike and give. Sorry. They would go a little further, yeah, like here. They would start adding gas like really gradually, but they would end up going to this place, being like the bike straightened up, because we can do that. We can actually straighten the bike up before we want to add a lot of gas, so that we can make use of the power of the bike without risking being on the side of the bike where it has less traction and we are very likely to make high side. Yeah, so that's why. What's the mistake again? The same thing I did in the other turns. I should have waited with the gas by bringing more cornering speed and getting that speed released into the corner. It's just too early. I should be like 1.5 meter to the left, on the brakes to this place maybe. Then maybe I would wait to this point, and somewhere here I would start adding gas. But okay, it's not super terrible. It's just it for my experience, for 5 years of riding, it could have been done in much better way. Yeah, but let's say it's okay, because the biggest mistake would be going really wide. So hitting the bike, of being scared, hitting the apex too early or with no brakes at all, not carrying the trade braking at all, getting to the right side and trying from right there, from the wide open, to make this corner by going around it, making the bike lean in the second apex, making the bike lean really to the right side. It would mean most of the times we can see, even with traction control, with super sticky tires, we would see guys flying because the tire is overwhelmed. We add gas, a lot of gas, because it's uphill. We want to go on the gas, and we would end up crashing. Yeah, let's go further. Not super bad, as I say. It's quite okay, but because of that, I didn't even have the opportunity to hit it again. But okay. By the way, even on 600, if you have a bit worse tire than super sticky one, or it is already quite used, remember, guys, when being here, to pick the bike a bit up before you add a lot of gas. So you lean to the corner, you touch the apex, or even before him, you can add a little bit of gas already because it's uphill. So it doesn't matter. The bike will be compressed. I mean, the bike will keep moving to the apex with no problem. So we can add the gas even before the apex. And right after you add it and you touch the apex, you should get the bike more straight and then add the gas. Not leaned over. Don't try to shoot with your gas, because even your traction control won't help you. You will go flying most of the time. As I said, this is one of the most obvious corners to do that. here we have another left-right chicane, very fast chicane, hard braking from big speed. So it's just, I won't repeat it one more time, but you can see that's again the same fucking time I did the same I did in the corners before. I'm scared, so I am braking hard. Not super early. Let's make it fair. It's not super early, but it's really hard braking, going fast on the brakes for in the straight line, and after 2 or 3 seconds I'm just spinning the bike to the left. It's too late, it's much too late. The bike takes forever to turn, it doesn't turn as it should. I reach the apex much faster than it actually is. I mean, I have to add I have to accelerate before the apex actually, and that's why I'm already, being thrown to the right side way faster than I should be, and I have fucked up the going to the straight line, because that will be left and right, back to the straight line. And let's see that. So, braking, look how long I take to lean the bike over. Okay, I should have waited again. If I had the cornering speed, I would lean the bike faster. I could have waited with gas to like this place, and I would be straight away, I would end up like here. But I will end up right like here. Let's see. You see how much I was thrown away? I reached the apex too soon. I didn't wait because I didn't have enough cornering speed to wait longer, and there was no sense to make it as well, because I was so slow that all I could do to at least save it somehow was accelerate. Nothing better to do. And because of that, my right corner, it's not super bad. I even hit the right apex, but it's not super bad. But it could be much better, and it of course results in the final, top speed on the main straight. Because I would have accelerated much faster, I would have enough time to go much faster. Yeah, let's see the another lap. Let's do one more lap. Again, braking, look, even the guy going on a liter bike, so probably braking from much faster speed and going all the way to the right, while me being all the way to the wider side, no, how to say it in English, sorry. I'm kind of tired already. I'm all the way to the outside. He's all the way to the almost all the way to the inside, and he will still be able to make the corner. What it means is that I am super early and super hard on brakes. I could have carried much more speed to the corner, and at the same time help the bike turn much better in the same time. So no risk. Of course, the risk is I'm not prepared. I'm not trained enough. So in the consequence, it's much safer for me. But in the end, I'm not helping the bike enough as I could if everything was perfect. Yeah, that's we're coming to the back to the point where everything should be perfect in order to make this corner good. So look what happens. The guy going all the way to the outside, to the inside, he can still make the corner. It means I fucked up totally. I didn't touch the. I don't know if you saw what that double apex. I didn't touch the first apex, so it's another miss. And this is where I should be coming back. This is the second apex right here, and from here straight line opens to the left corner right here. So what I fucked up was I was so slow in this corner that it didn't even throw me away enough to go for the second apex. Yeah, I've missed it actually, because the bike is more capable than what I have done. Yeah, the sign of this would be that I would have so much cornering speed and also the corner entry speed that I would be thrown away between the apexes. Yeah, so I should have touched this corner, this apex, sorry, and have so much cornering speed that I would be thrown away for longer time. It's not, it's not the point to try being thrown away as much as possible. It's the side effect. Yeah, the faster you approach the turn, the faster you are in the turn, the more you will be thrown away. But what I mean by that is that you can see right away that my entry speed is and the mid corner speed is not enough to even make the bike go wide by itself. Yeah. So if I had Olins or another perfect suspension set up for me, and I would be trained well, I could have go all the way, as Marquez does, all the way, to the right side. Actually, not on this corner, he does that on the Schwann's corner, but like here, with properly set up bike and me being with this low speed that I currently have, I would be touching the curb all the way throughout this turn, and I don't, which is bad. Let's go further. So from here, from this apex, which is around here, right here where as I told you, the apex is where we can see the opening. So right from here, we wanna go right there. And we should have enough corner and exit speed from that corner, so that we should have needed to use the curbs. Yeah. So I'm like, I should be riding on the curb right here. It's safe. It's totally safe. Even though the curbs are like that, they are very steep. Still, I should be riding on the curbs, and I'm like 2 meters away at least. So that's super bad. It means my speed is not enough, even on 600. On liter bike, it's super bad. And again, I'm braking. Look how long I'm keeping it straight. Then I lean it to the corner. Then I keep it to the left way longer than I should need to keep it left side. And that's why I'm starting the turn from this position, while I should start it from here. That's super bad. And actually, there's one more thing I want to show you right now, or maybe two things. Another corner, another situation similar. This one is quite good, but still it's a little bit downhill. But I could have waited with the brakes. I could have waited with the brakes, hit the brakes harder, and lean the bike over. Had I had not been scared, I should still touch the apex in even much better way than I did now. Now, between, let's say this is two apex, even though those are this one right turn and there's another right turn, another apex, we can still say it's like one turn, even though it's two separate corners. Because why? Because here's the first apex, and look that I'm not getting the bike all the way straight and to the straight before I turn it to the right again. So let's say it's like more like two apex, one single turn. I should give it gas right here. Had I had enough speed right on the entry in mid corner, I would get thrown away to here. So that would be the outcome. It would be the sign that I'm doing it correctly. I would be thrown away right here. Then I'm closing the gas. It's something that I don't recommend for newbies. For if you are a beginner, so for example, let's use this turn as an example of that. You would go from that corner, from that right, and you would be really careful to open the gas right here. What I recommend is that you would go to the all the way or half the way to the left side. I'd say the more to the left, probably the better. Pick the bike up to the straight line, because we are about to brake one more time into the right corner. So what I mean is, look on it. I give it gas right here. I accelerate. The bike goes to the left side. I brake. As you can see, I close the gas all the way. I hit the brake again without picking up the bike. And this is something that newbie guy that doesn't know how to close the gas and how to apply the brakes while the bike is still leaned over. This is really, really bad experience. You can crash really, really hard because of that. Please don't do that. If you are a beginner, open the gas, get the bike, straight to get it being straight, then brake again, because we have to, because we are approaching the bike, the turn fast. We want to brake again so the bike starts. That's the thing I told you before. I've explained before. We want to make the geometry optimal to make the bike turn better. So we wanted to go on the gas, because it's not a good thing to keep waiting for no one's what. You would end up like here, which is super bad. We want to reach the apex right there. It's right there. So we add gas because we want to go all the way to the outside, and of course we want to accelerate out of the corner. It's super okay. But for a beginner, don't um, don't close the throttle and don't brake when leaned over. Go to get the bike up again, brake one more time, and get leaned over again. As I'm experienced and I know how to do that correctly, I just being leaned over without picking up the bike because that's a waste of time for me. I close the gas, I brake again, and I want to get to the second apex. Let's see. And that's quite good actually. This corner is quite good because let's say the apex is between here and here. As you can see, we want to see a straight line from here to there. So it's like it's quite okay. But there's one more problem I want to show you right here. This is what I was doing when the bike was very slippery before, and I remembered it from that time. And that's what I'm doing right here. Take a look what I'm doing with my body. As the camera is mounted like right here next to my eye, you can see the whole thing of me moving by the camera moving to the inside of the bike and to the outside. And look what I will be doing. I will pinpoint it. I will show it to you in a minute. Look. And right now, as you can see, the time when I hit really hard gas, I mean when I accelerate really hard, I tend to go back to the bike like this. The bike is leaned over to this side, but I do like this and go back down again. It is a waste of time. Why? And why I'm doing this? Because that's kind of that's actually from dirt bikes, from riding on uneven, slippery pavement. So what it means, what it does is when I'm between the corners and I want to accelerate really hard, the even though it's not really logical, because let me explain quite let's get to the roots because you will get lost what I'm saying. Uh, we are helping the bike turn by leaning to the curve. So the more you go to the inside of the corner, the more you're helping the bike turn, and the less the bike needs to lean itself to make the corner. Yeah. So it's better to be leaned over all the way to the corner. It's not about perfect position. We're not talking about that right now. If you're touching your elbow, your knee, or whatever, all I mean is the more the more of your weight you can transfer to the side, to the inner side of the corner of the bike, to the corner, the better for bike for it to turn, because it has to less it needs less lean angle to make the turn. You're basically helping with your body to make the bike turn, but that's only when the surface is perfect, when it's grippy. When it's uneven and you know that you will be adding a lot of gas, or either you wanna go straight, for example, I'm leaning to the right, I will add gas, and I still want the bike to go as much to the left side as possible. For example, there would be a much more straight line right here, and I would like to keep the bike to the left side, not turning to the right all the time because it's leaned to the right, to the side of the tire. As I told you, the smaller the tire, the more it would go to the inner of the corner. So if there would be a bit more straight line, and I would like to keep to the left side to make the turn from the as I should from the all the way from the outside to the inside, which would be the best trajectory. Or if the pavement was as bad as it was before I give it a lot of gas, I would naturally get my ass on the bike more. I mean, my chest, my ass stays as it was, but I would get my chest to the tank. Why? Because I'm preparing myself for a situation when the rear tire would have too much for it. I mean, too much gas, and it will slip. If I was if I was leaning off the bike to the inside, it would just go like whoa, and I would lose it. So that's why when I'm adding gas like that between corners, being leaned over, I would straighten it a little bit. I mean my body, so that if the bike goes like it wants to abruptly drop to the ground, I can pick it up with my body to the second side, and that's why at 16, Espargaro suggests to go wide in one corner, then on curbs at two corners. You know what? That depends because, as I told you, most of the guys, even Marquez, I saw, they tend to cut the first corner as for two apexes. But that's the same for Omega. That's the same for Schwan's corner. It all depends. For the rider, for the bike, because you want to use your advantages the best you can. So you can either cut the first curb, or you can go like meter or even 2 meters away. It's just up to the rider. The most important thing is how you get from those two apexes, how you get off the second one, because then you need the most speed and the least lean angle possible to add as much gas as possible to use all that power. So the bigger the bike, and the more it tends to go wide, the better you would be, dropping the first curve by like meter or two to be able to make the corner better with better lean angle. How to say it? Targeting or how to say it? Yeah, pointing to the next corner from the second apex. That's the most important. So that's it. So that's why. Let's go further in. So let me say it one more time right here. If there would be that's the case on Slovakian, for example, we have left corner. In that case, it's left. Yeah, but never mind. We have corner. We have a little bit of straight line, and we have right corner again. What I'm normally doing is I'm getting from that corner, yeah, leaned over to the right. But when I open the gas, even though I open it, the bike tends still being leaned to that side. It tends to clear the second corner already, to cut the second apex. I don't want that because I want to keep the bike as much to the outside as possible to make this as as open as possible. But in this case, why I'm doing this is because I remembered about me having bad bike, bad tire, crashing, plus remembering my old riding from the sleep Brno, that when I added gas, and especially I'm riding most of the time, I'm riding a liter bike ZX10 without traction control because I don't use systems at all. I ride all with my hands, all with my body, with my feeling. I don't use systems, electronics at all. So I felt much of the times that I wanted to accelerate more because I want to drift into the corner. So I want the bike to drift a little bit to even better get into the corner. I'm getting it pinned by slide. I'm getting it pinned to the corner, to the apex, by sliding the S of the bike more to the inside. But because of that, I was preparing myself always to be able to go, to the different side if I felt in the last time that the bike is like, it's very fast situation when you feel that the bike wants to go, it wants to lie down, it wants to go down or high side in some cases, but most of the times it's like, bam, it's very abrupt low side, and that's why I'm doing this thing in this situation with this kind of power. This is low power bike, 600 old bike, and with even with this tire there was so much grip. Then why I'm explaining it to you, if you don't need it, even if you're a beginner. What I mean is, don't do things that you don't have to do. What I mean, do the least you have with your body, the least input of your body going from one side to another, and least movement, especially abrupt movements, the least you can, the least. So if there is no reason to go, for example, to the knee or to the elbow because your speed is too low, or any other reason, the corner is not suited for it or something, then it means you shouldn't do that. And the more the bike is leaned, the more you have to take into consideration not to upset it, not to do something. It can be a little, just that much as I do. Sometimes this or the rear, you don't want to do that because it has no sense, and I'm losing time because of that as well. So we should delete that movement from here, from this exact situation. Let's go further. So guess the trajectory here is quite okay for me. I am happy with that. And right heel look again. I am I am not touching this first apex on purpose. It's not because I fuck it up. I've looked the years before, more time for myself. I saw it that many people fuck it up because they close the first apex, the first curve, they touch it here, but then they have really wide trajectory right here on this dust that is right there because it's outside. It's really dusty. They tend to lean the bike a lot, and then they make the second apex really bad with high lean angle. Takes them ages to come back to their line, and that's risky because some rider that would be behind you, if he would see, oh, this guy is really wide, why he's doing that, he would try to go behind you and get into that spot. So he would be unaware that you would be going from that far away back, and you would collide. Actually, that's what happened, almost happened, when I was doing one of my laps. I don't think it's on this video, but to cut it short, I went really wide because I've cut the curb once, and I wasn't capable, either me, the bike, the suspension, etc., the tires. We ended up with my bike being thrown away like here. And before I got back and closed it, my friend got, I saw in the last moment that I have, a tire of a guy like here, yeah, but it was too late. I was already closing in. Hadn't he abruptly hit on brakes, he almost crashed me, and no more crashed himself because he needed on full lean. He needed to hit really hard on brakes because rolling off the gas wouldn't be enough to let me in. He would collide into me, and it would be like huge crash, with probably me being really seriously hurt, and maybe him as well. But me, as being hit by his bike, it would be even worse. It might even end up of him riding over my body and my bike. So that's why I want to go. I prefer it that way, and I see that most fast guys do it that way. Those who are, regularly are here, and they put all the attention to their ride, all the engineers and so on, they tend to go like 1-2 meters away from the curb right here, be able to have less angle right here when closing the second curb, and then going back. Okay. And again, look how long. If you look on any other rider, fast rider that has everything prepared, that is, 100% hardcore rider, and he knows what he's doing, you would see him get out of this corner on gas and making it, even though we've got a short straight line here, he would do exactly what I told you a minute ago, where I was, picking up the body. He would go up on gas right here, pushing really hard. He would close the gas, hit the brakes, and lean the bike right away. And look how long I take to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, guy. 4 seconds before I lean the bike over. That's fucking bad. Of course, it's as safe as it could be, I know, but still, it could be much better if I analyzed my first onboard of that day. I don't know if it was this one. I don't even remember now. But I lost the count. But if I remembered to check the video and pay attention to what I was doing, I would have seen that already. That it was super bad. Ah, so you couldn't hear me for a second. Damn it. I don't know how much, but okay, let's finish up this lap, because when it comes to the onboard, I just have a few side things to tell you, but most of the things we've got covered. So, oh, you can hear me, yeah? It's okay? As you can see, I'm on the gas way before I should, and that's why it's super bad. Again, braking hard, leaning far too late, and not making up, not even reaching the corner right here. It's like, let's see it one more time. It's super bad. It's super utterly bad. Yeah, I didn't even reach the corner right here, and I had to give it gas because it was no point in waiting. Okay, guys. So before we do a quick Q&A, please write down on the chat if you can hear me because I'm not sure if I am not talking to myself for the whole couple of minutes. Uh, let me ask somebody on the chat. Let me ask somebody if actually you can hear me at all. Okay, before I yeah, okay, you can hear me. Thanks God. Okay, so let's before we end up with Q&A, I've got a few more questions, a few more things to talk in general, not about only this onboard. First of all, guys, remember, we want to be as fluent as possible. We don't want to be abrupt. We don't want to be aggressive. The more aggressive you are, the more bad inputs you do to the bike, and the less you feel what you're doing, the less feedback you feel from the bike, the less you think about the riding. So in the consequence, you crash a lot. So don't push. Remember that you have to ride on your legs. I will be talking about that in future videos, so subscribe to the channel if you don't already. But to cut it short, your handlebars, you have to be as gentle as possible. Don't squeeze the handlebars, don't hold to them, because that's not what you should be doing. You have to be on your legs, on your toes, while moving around the bike and gripping to your tank with your ass up when possible, without inputting on the handlebars. Like, you have to make it turn, but don't hold to it. It's not how you're supposed to do it. And yeah, actually you have to be really gentle. And as you can see, uh, yeah, okay. So what I wanted to say is that you have to analyze your ride. If you have any video of your riding and you want to upgrade your ride, uh, yeah, we're just ending, so I don't know if you can stay at the object, but we are just ending. But to cut it short, if you have any video, guys, and you want me to analyze it, that's what I'm doing for living now. Now I will do it also for people in English. You can send me a video. We can either chat about it on live, like we do right now. We can review your riding for free, like 1 or 2 laps live with other people, or either you can buy one-on-one session, private session, where we will either talk about your lap times or buy one-on-one session, 1 hour talking with me on any topic, like buying your bike, setting it up, or something you need help with, or what to buy, what to change to improve it. I can help you with that. So if you got it, then you can contact me via email, Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever, and I will get back to you, and we can do the job. Let me see if I've covered everything I wanted to say before we finish up. Uh, is there anything else I haven't told about? Mm. Yeah, so if you like this video, please share it with friends if you wish. If you like, you can subscribe to the channel. We'll have more videos like this with other people's onboards or my other onboards as well. When I'm correcting myself, I'm throwing a lot of action, a lot of tutorials, there will be a lot of reviews on the channel, on MyLifes.Racing on YouTube. So that's basically all I wanted to say. Analyze your ride, think what you're doing, because if not, you'll be crashing at, and there's really no point in that, because it all comes down to analyzing what you do and improving. Like, it's like playing chess but much faster. You have to analyze each move you do to make better the second time, or with experience you learn eventually. So thank you all for listening. Tell me now if you have any questions left, because it's so long already. Are you planning to make analyze like that for the other tracks in the future? Yes, I'm doing that in next couple of days. I don't know when exactly, because my computer is too weak, and As you can see, I had to turn it around to the side because I cannot blur my I can't even blur my background because it cuts it crashes. My PC is too bad for that. But surely we'll do the analysis of other tracks as well, either mine or other people if they will be willing to. And as I told you, any other reviews, tutorials, action videos, we'll be doing all that. When final part of turning, getting up on bike, do you turn a steer inside? Well, Etiopchik, to be honest, I'm not doing that at all. Thank you for saying it. Great. I'm doing my best, as I told you guys. I haven't used English for like 1 year. I have a lot of input, but I'm not talking English. So especially talking, for that long, it gets tiring and it's also a bit stressful for me. But I'm glad I've made it up to this point and you are still here. So to cut it short, the best thing at Jobcheck you can do is pick up your bike with gas. There are times, yeah, I didn't mention it, so I will do now. There are times where we want to steer the bike with the counter steer very hard, like fast chicanes, some corners, like Slovakia's last right and then last right, then left to the straight line. I'm forcing a lot the counter steer, but most of the times when going off the corner, and most of the corners at all, I'm not making any input. I'm just adding gas, and that's when the bike stands up itself. Yeah, because it tends to when you counter steer to the inside to the outside, the bike leans over. And sometimes you need that. You need it. You need that on the track, especially when I will do another video about that. Actually, I want to make video about chicanes, but that is when we want to do a lot of braking. Sorry, I'm losing the idea. That's in the chicanes. That's where we want to do a lot of input on the counter steering to make the bike turn first time, and then especially to transition to the second side. So that's when I'm doing a lot of input. But even on the liter bike. And on the 600 as well. Maybe I would on a 300, but I don't think it would make any sense because it's better to keep the bike leaned over. The less power you have, the better it is to keep the bike leaned, getting out of the curve for as long as possible. Because the smaller the wheel is, the faster it accelerates. The faster the less power you lose, the least grip you have. So that's why the bike loses the least horsepower on the exit of the curve. So basically, you are getting up, but you are ending up being the fastest possible. Yeah. So if there is not a liter bike or any, if in let's say it in another words, on liter bike, I tend to pick up the bike a lot of times. On smaller capacity like 600 or sometimes 300, I'm doing that pickup of the bike only on going out of very slow corners like first or second gear, slow corners or sharp corners like 90-degree or hairpin like 180-degree. But out of that, I'm not doing anything else to the. I'm not putting the handlebars, for example, on going out of the corners. So yes, but then the bike tends to go wide. Yeah, but I don't quite understand. I mean, you say that you're inputting the handlebars when going out of the turn, but so you mean that you're keeping it like steered to the outside, like you're trying to force the lean, yeah? Here, yeah, of course. Let's put it that way. The amount of pressure I'm putting on the handlebar by going to the side of the bike, going to the front, as you can see, I am already inputting the handlebar to keep it pinned to the corner. So that way, I'm making it to stay leaned, but like it's not like I have to force it a lot. Yeah, it's much more obvious for me is when I'm in hairpin, where I really that's why I have my handlebars really open, especially on a liter bike. Here it's on this bike it's quite closed, but on liter bike I have it really wide. I will make another video about that. But in general, I'm not inputting my handlebars that much as you might think. It's more of adding lean of the bike plus leaning your body to the side of the bike rather than forcing the handlebars all the time. The more you do it, the more tiresome it gets. And as I said, there aren't many places. So yeah, answering your question, the amount of doing it, of keeping it turned, where are my hands? Right here. The amount of keeping it turned is the amount of being out of the bike to the inside of the corner and going, to the front because I have to do it anyway because the bike tends to go wheelie most of the times. So I'm keeping the front wheel loaded with me being to the front, and that's when I have the bike, pinned to the corner because of making the counter steer as well. Frankly, this was a proper Brno tutorial. How to ride Brno and not roasting yourself. Good stuff. Well, guys, of course, it was kind of clickbait, this title. Not really. As for me, of course, for this experience, for this amount of dedication I'm doing to this, motorcycle racing thing, it is quite humbling for me because those are actually quite big mistakes for me with my experience. But yeah, of course, for you, for most people, for beginners, I think this is very useful video to go, unharmed with your bike in one piece and have enjoy your track day. Please tell me, guys, if you have anything else to ask, do it right now because I think we've got it all covered. And yeah, I really hope you like it because it's quite, unusual for me to do it. Like, it will help me for sure in the future videos, like offline videos, preparing them to be more open to the camera. But yeah, I really needed to nail it to make it work because I was really, stressed out of going public. So if that's all, guys, if you don't have any more questions about the ride, then thank you for today. My name is Mike again for those who are new. If you need any help with your ride, send me your video, contact me beforehand, of course, and we'll help you ride. We'll analyze it as I did right now. We can make it either in public for free or you can just purchase a ticket in my shop for doing it one-on-one private lesson. Okay, so I'm waiting like a few seconds. If there is nothing else to ask, then we'll end up right here. Thank you very much for being till the end because I can see that concurrent viewers. I can see that it's more or less 8 to 10 people all the time. So you are sticking with me all the time until now, and it's like, oh God, it was 2 hours actually. Yeah. So then, thank you very much, guys. I will write it down in the chat. Thank you for being with me. And well, see you in another live video or offline video. Keep on watching, subscribing MyLifes.Racing. You will find me there, and you will find me again on live streams talking about my ride and other people's ride. Thank you very much. Bye, guys.